Welcome everyone to Tales from the Trenches Tuesdays. Today I am speaking with my friend Paul Nazareth. Paul has worked in Canada's philanthropic sector for over 20 years and is a well-known source of insight on the intersection of technology and money. Currently Vice President of the Canadian Association of Gift Planners, Paul was previously Vice President at the charity Canada Helps. He's been a philanthropic advisor with a national wealth management firm and spent 15 years working with charities from universities to churches. Paul is on the board of several charities, including the Circle on Indigenous Philanthropy, and on the Advisory Council of Carleton University's Masters in Philanthropy and Nonprofit Leadership program. He serves as a faculty for the Master Financial Advisor in Philanthropy program, led by CAGP, the Knowledge Bureau, and Spire Philanthropy, and is a frequent instructor for the tax and advisor community through organizations like CPA, Advocates, and estate planning councils. Paul writes for a variety of publications and regularly appears on national radio and TV to speak about personal generosity in Canada. So, welcome, Paul. The fundraising profession tends to be fairly female-dominated. If we look at the number of staff, of employees, I would probably say 80-90% of them are females. Yet, when you look at the CEO level or the C-suite level, it's disproportionate. For some reason, the women drop off there. And as two guys, I don't know if we necessarily are qualified to talk about it, but I'm certainly going to invite you to give your opinion on it.
Well, we know why that is, and it's misogyny. And we have people we can follow and learn from on this. Again, really, I go looking for the experts, the people who are trained in this. And frankly, this is the thing. How many boards go and come up with some crazy idea when you got someone on staff who has a PhD in that work? Who do I follow in this space? The Ontario Nonprofit Network, the brilliant work of Pamela Upall in Ontario and a number of peers across Western Canada who are champion decent work. The female gendered economy, both in the capitalist and charitable economy. We've got the economist Armin Yalnizyan, who writes policy alternatives, all of it, to understand the misogyny in our history. And this book has just recently come out about the women who fundraise in the gala circuit in the 80s, the glitter girls they called them, and we just know that this was absolutely based in misogyny and gendered history. From the leadership to the C-suite, that's the part that needs to be rebalanced, and it is going to take an effort. And I tell you, I don't have confidence in boards to do that. Our sector has to be pushing, our people have to be pushing. We've got to reform all of this, and if governance or whatever's got to change to it, then that's what's got to happen. Frankly, I'm involved right now supporting a nonprofit network that has had a huge ethical breach in firing unceremoniously their first ever CEO of diversity. And, I was listening to the lawyers say everyone was within their rights, this is legal and governance, and everyone in the room said, but it's wrong. I don't care if the law and governance and the rules are on your side. This is what supremacy has meant the whole time. You created the rules. The master's tools will not disassemble the master's house. So it is time, I think, for a lot of us to get more activists. Speak up and speak out when we know it may be legal. It's not right. And that will go right across the board.
We've kind of seen fundraising evolve over the years. My good friend Jason Lewis says that fundraising is kind of in its messy adolescence, right? Yeah. 30 years ago, maybe in Canada, just was starting. People were doing fundraising off the side of their desks. Now it's kind of going through that messy adolescence where, some stuff kind of smells a little bad. Like I have teenage boys and sometimes they smell a little bad. Yes. So sometimes it smells a little bad. And, obviously you're going to be growing into a mature adult. So where do you see, or how do you see that kind of evolution happening?
Part of it is what I personally also feel, and this is a bit of an aging stage for me too, is that there also needs to be a bit of a de-evolution. There was a time for years, and in our community in gift planning, we fought wars over professional designations. We wanted those letters behind our name so we could stand toe to toe with the advisors and the boards and everybody. And as many of us also realized, no amount of them would ever get us that respect. As a younger man,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was all about the suit and ties. Many people like to call Paul the best dressed man in fundraising. That was because I spent the first 10 years of my career in litigation, fighting in bequest administration, arguing with advisors over gifts of assets, securities, etc. I still today do board presentations weekly in which a person of authority, the former mayor who's now a financial advisor, says, "Nope, that's not legal." And I have to say to them with great respect, "You're wrong. Here is the knowledge from again, this is why we partner with other groups, CPA, law societies, etc. But that is one of our greatest challenges. We want the respect. We thought that the clothing and that was going to get us there. There is a great danger, I like to say, of the suits and the ties getting too tight that it cuts off circulation to the brain. It's time for us to get back to the community element. Yeah, I deeply reflect on this about what it's going to take towards healing. And again, great respect and thanks to Edgar Villanueva of Decolonizing Wealth, to the Collective Courage group collective who published that book, Collecting Courage, talking about, in their case, racial and reconciliation healing. We need sector and professional healing. It is time to stop getting highfalutin and always philanthropy, a word nobody can pronounce, let alone spell, and get back to what I consider as generosity at its core and community in its focus. That, for me, is what can heal us, is the humanity. And we let the suits and ties and that capitalist mindset take us, we will lose that humanity. We'll focus on government and the law. But is it generous? And is it right?
A couple things before we leave. The first part is I always ask everyone, as we've been kind of sitting hybrid over the last couple of years, everyone spent more time at home than they actually ever did. At least I certainly have. And you go through your 800,000 channels on your TV and you realize, oh my God, there's nothing to watch. So we're always looking for a great recommendation for a show or a movie that you've seen lately that you said, hey, you know what, people really have to see this.
You know what, I'm a real movie guy. And being Gen X, it's the language I speak. And partially too with kids in that age and stage, my big thing is I put them to bed and I'm there for the midnight show, opening night of the big blockbusters. And why? Because I also believe that blockbusters and movies are our cultural language. Right? Again, what rejuvenated the cinema industry? Top Gun. Right? Again, so, and again, that creativity of storytelling, the film festivals and those kind of things, as well as the blockbusters that give us stories. That being said, me personally, I have a bias. Streaming and binging kills me. Game of Thrones broke me years ago. I cannot wait anymore. I will wait for a series to end to watch it. But that's why I love movies.
Right.
They have a clear arc. Right, so some recent ones of storytelling I've seen is an incredible movie called 3,000 Years of Longing with Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton. The other really great one I would encourage fundraisers to watch, Everything Everywhere at Once, with the martial arts star, now I'm forgetting her name. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the first ever diverse Bond woman. So these kind of stories that take our mind in different places, that's what I go to do to help me with that creativity and being totally ensconced in it. But again, community. For me, it's that element of watching it together, right? The greatest couple movies of the past couple of years, Get Out, Parasite, those kind of things that are so heavy and powerful. That's what I really believe in. That being said, I did break my policy and just started watching the new Game of Thrones and instantly regret it because it's got me hook, line, and sinker.
Well, Paul, if folks wanted to get hold of you, how would they go about doing that?
Again, as people know, I'm someone who talks about networking and that concept of being findable, available. So you know what? Google me. Because if you're looking for the suit, you'll find me on LinkedIn. If you're looking for the conversation, you'll find me on Twitter. If you're looking for the experimentation, you'll find me on TikTok. I'm rebranding, and that's how I want to be known in the next phase of my career. I'm calling myself the generosity guy. Again, we just get lost in plan giving, endowments, and fundraising. As people can find me in these spaces, connect with me in the way that speaks to you, And I want to be there. This is my passion for our community, for our colleagues, to help create prosperity and everything in their lives.
That's amazing. Thanks so much, Paul. Thanks for joining.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. As always, so much fun.
Hi, folks. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right here.